Oh, hello, everyone. Yes. Welcome to Friday. I'm so happy to have you here. My name is RJ Redden, and you know me, and you know the bot signal. So I won't introduce all that because I'm saving space. Why? I have a VIP with me today. Her name is Linda Waterhouse. She does a bunch of ninja tricks on LinkedIn, and I wanted to bring her in front of you so that we could all learn a little bit more about LinkedIn. But first, Linda, who are you? Give me your intro.
Hey, RJ. Thanks for inviting me here. Professionals and small business owners, they hire me so that I can help them learn how to leverage LinkedIn and to enhance their online presence, to get more visibility and credibility, and then to ultimately get more clients, which is what we're all trying to do, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We do have the same. So that's why that sounded a little. The cadence sounded familiar. And LinkedIn. Well, let me ask you a little background first before we dive into LinkedIn. Why did you pick LinkedIn?
Oh, well, that's a really good question. A couple of reasons. I've been doing digital marketing for, probably almost 10 years now. But digital marketing has really grown. It started with websites and then search engine optimization and then social media, email marketing. And it just got to be too much. I like to know exactly what's going on with everything, and it just got to be too much. And everybody was saying, the riches are in the niches. And so I decided I was, going to have to pick one direction to go in, like you with the chatbots. And it was a couple of years ago. And at the time, Facebook was kind of imploding, didn't know what was going on. And LinkedIn just seemed like a place that I can't tolerate, a lot of nonsense, the rants, and LinkedIn was more business-like. And what really got me was that it's so searchable with the search engines. Like, people don't realize that if we were to search for ourselves, or Google ourselves, the majority of the time our LinkedIn profile comes up right at the top. And to me, that just shows that, it's really important for business.
It really is. And I think that at different times, have discounted LinkedIn. I know when it first came out, it was known as like HR world, HR people searching for people, which I wasn't interested in that at the time. So I have kind of, over the years, sometimes have not really even considered it a viable place to be. But as you said, as Facebook has imploded for several reasons over the years, and as the reach on there, I mean, you're dead in the water unless you spend for the advertising, which is good. The advertising is great, but if you don't want to spend for that, then you're kind of out of luck. Because Facebook does not want you to talk about your business. If you're on your personal profile, they've got rules against that. They'll go shut your personal profile down. Your business profile won't reach anybody unless you pay for it. So what's an entrepreneur to do? For me, just going over to LinkedIn and seeing what they have. They love it when you talk about your business. They love it when you promote your stuff. In fact, I feel free to talk about my business. I feel free to talk about what I do. I feel free to connect with people. It's like Facebook was in 2012 is how I refer to it.
You are really so right. Yeah. And do you hear an echo? I hear an echo now.
I do not.
Okay.
But keep going.
Right.
Support.
What Facebook is definitely pay to play, and Instagram is getting like that also. And that's the benefit of hitting LinkedIn right now, that the organic reach is still amazing. This is really the time to jump on, build your network, build your audience, learn how to engage right. I hear people, they say, oh, I'm embarrassed. I don't want to connect with people there because I'm embarrassed about my profile. I mean, there's just a few things that people can do to, make their, I say they look like a rock star on LinkedIn, and then then people will want to connect. We need to turn it from a resume to, to be thinking about our client, client facing, so that people know exactly who we serve and what problems we solve. And then they're more inclined to reach out. Since I started doing that, I mean, my profile views just, skyrocket. Even though I was a digital marketer, when I first started getting involved with LinkedIn, you can get an email that tells you how many views you got. And mine was, it's embarrassing. It was like a 4. And, just the other day I looked at it and it was, 870 something. So it's really not, and I don't pay for a single ad. So it really is very, friendly towards the reach.
And that's what I love about it, is that it is friendly toward business, which that's why I'm on social media. I'm not really, I'm not on social media anymore to report to everybody how my life is going. I'm on there to grow my business. I'm on there to network. If a social media network doesn't support that, then okay, I don't support them. I mean, because to me, having friends is not something that other people should define for me. The way that I interact with my friends is something I define for myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just saw that little shoulder raise. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, of course. That's completely the way it should be. And a lot of people come to me and they're a little bit leery about LinkedIn because they're like, it's business, and these are business people, and they're like, oh, I don't know. They don't know the etiquette. I don't know what to say, or they say I'm a private person. I don't want to share. And the way I look at LinkedIn is that it's just like going to a networking meeting, only it's a networking meeting that I can attend with exactly the people who I want to talk to, because it has excellent filtering capabilities, and I can attend, without even leaving my home. And I said that even before the pandemic, and it's, even more true now.
That's absolutely the truth. You can curate your audience. Whereas in other platforms, you're shouting to whoever drives by. And there's a big difference in results when you do that. I think that's one of the main things about LinkedIn that really surprised me. Now, let's go back. You said a lot of people say to you, I'm embarrassed about my profile.
Yeah.
You say back.
Yeah. And I say, first of all, I hear that a lot. Don't be embarrassed for me to see it, for sure. Most people, if they made a profile at all, they did it, 4 or 5 years ago. They don't realize that LinkedIn added the ability to put a cover banner the way Facebook has. And I've even had people say, because the default is like a light blue with white dots and lines. And they're like, oh, I thought that was kind of pretty. And it's like, well, pretty or not, it's a huge piece of real estate that we're not taking advantage of if we don't put a cover photo that reflects us. They say a picture, says 1,000 words. What are the 1,000 words that your picture is saying about you? Do people understand what you do? Can they, instantaneously get, an idea of, who you are and who you help? And, a lot of people put their, if they've appeared on, Forbes or Huffington Post or something, it's just adds your credibility. Or if you're an author, put your book up there. It's great.
Yeah. I know I need to take advantage of that real estate a little bit better. Right now, I've just got something that's, kind of cool, but doesn't say anything about what I do. So I know I need to take that advice.
There's always another step we can take. So don't be embarrassed, but just don't, like our resume is appropriate for when we're looking for a job. When we're not looking for a job, then we can use LinkedIn to do other things. And we just need to modify our profile a bit. We just need to turn it around so that it's not about us. It's about the people that we help.
That's true. Now, this is something that I heard a while ago, and I want to check it with you to see if it's still true or not. I heard a bit ago that if you go in and change your profile a lot, whether it's just one word or a picture or anything, that LinkedIn will put it back through the algorithm and you'll get more people looking at you. It's like making a change and then your stuff goes to the top of the pile. Does that, yeah, I heard that works that way. And I was like, I don't know about that. I'm going to ask somebody. So I'm asking you right now in front of all these people.
When I say, does it get to the top? Not necessarily the top, but LinkedIn has something called a social selling index, which a lot of people aren't even aware of. It's kind of a way that they've gamified. We all have a score, even if we only have the free version of LinkedIn. And you can get it if you go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI for social selling index. And that gives us a number that they break down in 4 different pieces. And it kind of gives you an indication of how LinkedIn thinks you're doing in certain ways. So there's definitely a part of that will go up if we are improving our profile. And when that goes up, there's not a direct correlation. A lot of people say, oh, that's just a vanity metric, it doesn't matter. But especially for people who are beginning, I feel it gives us, a little bit of feedback, which is always helpful, to make sure that we're doing the things that LinkedIn wants us to do. And updating our profile, especially when there's new features, such as there's a new section called the features section, which I noticed that you have links to your lives, which is the absolute best way to do that. But some people don't even know that you can do that. And so you need to stay up to date with what, the features that LinkedIn has to offer. And that will always help.
Well, and that kind of goes back to the old, social media adage that when I was back doing technology coaching, I told people this all the time. If you want to do well on a platform, you need to inhabit that platform.
Yes.
You need to visit, communicate with others, do all of the little things, and keep up on, what you just said, keep up on what's happening, because there's always something new that you can take advantage of, or that you can see how it works. I kind of like that. Once I start to kind of trust where a social platform is coming from, then I'm free to experiment and try different things and see how it looks and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I would be the first one to say that, the social media platforms that we need to inhabit the most should be the ones where our clients hang out in. And LinkedIn is definitely B2B. But but even if we are a business to consumer business, people are a little bit, I don't want to say short-sighted, but really, what is better to have? One customer or one referral partner who would be another business who has the same target audience as us, who, we can exchange back and forth, clients with possibly. So LinkedIn is the best way, to find somebody else who might be in a similar business to us and develop a relationship that, can be mutually beneficial.
Oh, absolutely. And, one of the other things that LinkedIn has been good for me is helping me find speaking experiences that I wouldn't have found unless I was connected with this person who's in my same industry, who's going to go speak at that conference.
Right.
So it's much more than, can I get somebody to make a transaction with me today?
Oh yeah, much more than that. Absolutely.
Don't show up like that, people. Don't do it. It's so much more than that. It's about talking to people you find interesting, finding out, what they do and why they do what they do. To me, that's a really powerful combination. And then, inviting them to a further experience with you, and whether they become a partner or a collaborator or a referral or a transaction, it absolutely doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And you hit it right on the head, RJ, and that, if people are, reluctant to go on LinkedIn, really the best, comparison is going to a networking meeting, because we all hate the person who comes in a networking meeting and is shoving their business card in our face right away. We don't know them. And, what you said is exactly right. Start a conversation, get to know them, have them get to know, how you help, and then move the conversation offline. Sales aren't done on social media. We need to talk to people. People still do business with other people. And well, that's another aside. When people ask, should I do it more with my company page or my profile? And we start more conversations with our personal profile.
It's true. I mean, my personal profile packed with information. My company profile exists.
And that's, for you, the size of our companies, that's about what it should be, because, we want to make sure that we're legitimate. We're considered legitimate and credible. But beyond that, people want to talk to us. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Now, are there any methods of integrating what you do onto LinkedIn? Because I was just thinking about that before.
Oh, absolutely. So LinkedIn does not have well, I mean, it has that inbox system basically where you can message other people, but they do not have a bot system. And as far as I know, they are not getting one anytime soon, which is fine. So what I do when I'm talking to people, depending on what kind of a bot experience that I think they'd be a fit for, like say I run into somebody and I go, they'd be perfect for the dojo. I think they'd really like that. Then I'll invite them to one of my bots. There's also something called the book on bots, where I'm writing a book about bots in a chat bot. If I think they could contribute, then I will invite them to that experience. And so I'm always inviting them to an experience that I think that they will like. And that's my thing. That's how I get people, into my bot system, is I just invite them to a cool experience. And if they take me up on it, great. I just leave the link right there. And if not, fine. It's all fine. I mean, people self-select in and out depending on your personality, depending on how you word things, depending on a whole bunch of factors we're not even aware of. They do it all the time, but I get to start a conversation, see if that person's somebody I want to talk to or not. And then, and then leave a link if it feels appropriate. So a lot of people do ask me, can you get a bot for LinkedIn? I'm like, no, you can't get a bot that works natively on LinkedIn. That's not something that they allow, but you can create a cool experience and invite somebody to it, just like we do with all the other social media all the time.
No, that makes sense. And maybe, they're introducing LinkedIn stories. So they're, acquiring the things that other platforms are getting. So you never know, might happen.
Yeah. Boy, gosh, I do wish that platforms would be a little bit more self-guided than let's copy Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat.
Yeah. But
what are you going to do?
How do you do that? Where do you come up with the next really cool idea? Who knows? But
yeah. Well, that's another conversation completely. But let me ask you, for the folks here, if you are embarrassed about your profile, can you give me a couple of things that people can do? We've already mentioned change that header photo. Also, darlings, this is from me now. This is not even from the expert, but even I know this. Do not let your profile picture go empty.
Yes.
Do not do this.
That's a double thumbs up.
Oh my gosh.
You get, the last I heard is 11 to 14 times more views if you have a profile picture and you don't have that gray outline. People just wonder what, you're hiding, or they don't think you're real. It's, so many of us are afraid to put our pictures out there. We don't like our pictures. And, I don't want my, professional photographer friends to get mad at me because, a professional headshot, does put us in the best light. But, if that's out of your budget for now, just have it a professionally looking shot.
Absolutely.
And within the last 5 years, preferably. So people need to recognize this.
Right. That's a thing too. Okay. So professional, as a professional looking photo, if you can get professional headshots, all the better. I've done 2 rounds of professional photography. That has not cost me an arm and a leg. And I use that stuff constantly. I'm using those pictures all the time. So, what else can people do to spiff up their profile so that they can feel like it's cool to put it out there?
Well, after they change their header photo, the cover photo, and then their profile photo, the next thing that's the most important is their headline. And those are the series of words that occur underneath your name. Now, the default that LinkedIn will do is put your job title and your company name. And, that's better than nothing. But it just, especially for those of us who are in professions where there's just a ton of us, like a financial advisor or an insurance agent or realtor, we just look like a commodity. So the idea is to take that space, and right now it's 120 characters. I do hear that you can add more if you do it on a phone. So, check that out. But that is the place that's really, really important to put your keywords. So think about what, not necessarily the way I would describe myself, but what other people would look to search for somebody like me. So, I think you're lucky that, you do chatbots. I think people know them as chatbots. I think maybe some people might call them messenger bots. So you want to think about variations, and you want to say who you help. And the riches are in the niches. We have to, narrow it down. Even if we can help everybody, if we say exactly who our favorite clients are, then they will self-select, as you mentioned before. And the great thing about that headline is that unlike Facebook, where if you comment on somebody else's post, your profile picture and your name will show up next to your comment. On LinkedIn, your profile picture, your name, and your headline show up. So it's like a little mini billboard that follows us all around LinkedIn that can give people, just a little bit more insight and entice them to click on our profile and learn more about us.
So let me ask you this, because I've long struggled with the headline. I know that when I am choosing people to connect with, not even 120 characters show up unless you kind of hover over it or whatever. But I've always done job title. Like, I believe mine says chatbot engagement strategist or something like that. So you're saying what I need to say is something more like coaches hire me to help skyrocket their engagement
with chatbots.
Well, yeah. So you're saying don't job title it?
No, definitely don't job title it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because how are you? If I saw your picture and your name and what did you say? Your thing said chatbot strategist. Okay, so I have a little bit of an idea of what you do, but I don't know whether you work for a large company, whether you do this for, corporations. But if you say coaches hire me to do this, and I'm, a coach or, a small business owner, then I say, oh, that might be something that I'm interested in. Let me click on them. Whereas, if people are confused or not certain, they just move on.
Yeah.
So, but if I saw that you helped somebody like me, then I'd be a lot more inclined to, click through and learn more about you.
Okay. Interesting. I'm going to change that today.
Okay. Let me know. Make a copy of your profile searches, your profile views, and the number of times you showed up in a search, and then change it. And then, let me know in a couple of weeks if anything changes.
Okay, I will. Yeah, that's great. That's great stuff. There are some things that I'm doing on LinkedIn when I'm like, am I doing this right? I don't know. But yeah, that sounds great. I know a lot of people, and this goes to our mutual coach, but a lot of people start out their profile with "I help."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. To me, I read that and I go, "Oh, don't do that." But is it appropriate in this case to say "I help blah blah blah"?
Sometimes we have to and our, our mutual coach has a very good reason to not say, many people say I help, or they'll say something like, helping, whatever. Sometimes with the headline, especially, we need to be very cognizant of the character count. So you have to make it fit. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't do you any good. And then in the about section, you get 2,000 characters. So then you have much more room to tell more about what you do. But yeah, either helping or I help, or you could just put, a series of, chatbot expert, skyrocket your business, coaches and consultants, just, put a series of phrases there. Again, we have to think about what people are going to type in to look for somebody like us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts as we head out for the day? Anything, do you have any little gifts for the audience or anything like that?
Yeah, the two questions or comments that I get the most is, I'm embarrassed by my profile. And if you go to my website, lindawaterhouse.com, there's a free download on how to make your profile stand out in the crowd. So I highly suggest people download that, lindawaterhouse.com, just the way it sounds, nothing fancy. And so that will help people enhance and optimize their profile. The second comment I get is, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to do on LinkedIn. So I came up with a 5-step daily task list. So it's really simple. People don't have a lot of time, so you can do it in, 15, 20 minutes whenever you go on. And I have a free download for that also. And for people who want more help, more individual attention, I am pleased that I'll be able to start a new class. It's a 4-week accelerated class will be starting on July 1st. Because, with Corona, people, feel like, oh, I'm home, I really want to learn quickly, then I've really, condensed the material. So I share a lot in just 4 weeks, and people have been really, really happy and seeing a lot of progress. I think somebody, after I had a title person, and after the second week, she's like, I have a potential referral partner, that somebody reached out to her. It wasn't even her. So it really works. That just makes my heart sing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, these days, creating relationships is so important. And right now, for me, my personal experience, there's no better place to create those relationships with brand new eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
No better place than LinkedIn right now. So I'm so happy you came on the show. Thank you for giving us, your hard-won knowledge. Thank you for hanging in there with us. And I was so pleased to have you. You'll have to come back sometime.
Oh, I hope so. I love it. And the best thing is that, geography is no longer a restriction. Like you can, with networking meetings, you can, you meet the people who are, relatively close to you. But with LinkedIn, you can search for people all over the place. And, I would never have met you if, we hadn't been on a mutual meeting together, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, my friends, you never know who you can meet. You never know what a connection that you make today is going to do for you 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 2 minutes from now. You never know until you try. I suggest you try LinkedIn. Doing wonders for me at the moment. And Linda is here to give you some individual attention if you would like that. All right, my friends, that is it for this Friday. Monday, of course, I'll be back 10 a.m. ish weekdays, and that's it for now. I will see you in a bot. Wave goodbye.
Thanks, RJ. Bye now.